Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time, I want to show you a big fistful of just some of my Shazam, Captain Marvel type comic books. But before I do that, to remind you, I have two books available: Bizarre Brain Comics Anthology. Bizarre Brain Comics presents Heroes. Of course, this is my new one, and it's got some superhero, some science fiction, some horror stuff in it, and they are both available online from Amazon, or you just Google it online, and it'll come up from various other booksellers, online booksellers, available on Barnes & Noble online store. Okay, and that's at $7.99 each. So if you find one that's trying to sell it for $28, don't buy it there. So, when I was a kid, this is back in the 70s, I lived in a little tiny farming community out in the sticks, away from everything. And there was one place to get comics, and that was from the spinner rack at the drugstore. And back in the 70s, there was a lady who had been a friend of my mother's, and she was, it was known all around town. I was a big comic fan. I was probably the single largest comic buyer in that town. Just a few hundred people there. And this lady was cleaning out her garage, and she found a box of a stack of comic books from the 50s, books that her kids had way back then. They had been squirreled away in that garage for 20 years or more at that time. And so she gave them to me, and I had some. Anyway, doesn't matter. But among those were three of the Captain Marvel and the Marvel family books. So that's what we're going to start with. And of course, then Shazam and etc. came back in the 70s at DC. Now, just a couple weeks or so ago, I did that big tabloid-sized comic book of Superman versus Shazam. And this goes way back. This is Marvel Family number 23 from 1948. And these books are in rough shape, and they were just as bad shape when I got them. In pretty rough shape after sitting in the garage untended and stuff. Who knows how many times they'd been read for 20 years before. And so this is actual Fawcett publication, and it's pretty. I'm surprised the mice didn't get at it and eat them all up. Marvel Family fights the Savannah Family's newspaper. And of course, at this time they weren't doing credits, so a lot of this was artwork by CC Beck. And I don't know who can remember. Captain Marvel first appeared from Fawcett in. It was 39, but it was the 1940 issue, February 1940 issue of Whiz Comics number 2. There was no Whiz Comics number 1, except in the fall. This basically the same as with contents that was in Whiz 2, but done in like a small, what they call today, and I hate the term, an ash can. It was just for publication, for copyright reasons. They did that. So from when Whiz number 2, the first appearance of then the Captain Marvel, and they became very popular. Remember, in case you didn't know, okay, they were Captain Marvel, Shazam, and all the Marvel family books were very popular through the 40s. In fact, they were quite often outsold and were more popular than Superman, even though Superman had, they had, of course, all those comics had a comic strip in the newspaper. I don't think Captain Marvel ever did. And, of course, and Superman had the theatrical animated shorts and the comic strip and the radio show. And Captain Marvel didn't have any of those. But Captain Marvel was the very first comic book superhero featured in one of the movie serials, and it was a very good serial. I don't have it anymore. I used to have it on videotape a long time ago, and it was very good and pretty respectable effects for the time, especially the flying effects compared to the later Superman serials with using animated animation for the flying sequences. So this is number 23, Marvel Family 20. Here is Captain Marvel number 98 from 1949. So the world's mightiest mortal, Captain Marvel, leads the way to victory in a smashing new story, The United Worlds, plus Mr. Tawny's persecution complex. And again, mostly, but not necessarily, Cap loses his memory and other stuff. And they would have other little, this happens to be an ad, but they also would throw in other little stories not related at all. They had some funny animals and other humor stories thrown in. And of course, at this time, remember, whereas Superman was not, and those most of the other superheroes were more on the serious side, even though they were on the goofy side. These were done primarily, fun adventure, but done tongue-in-cheek. So this is Marvel Family number 55, and this is from 1951, I think it was. 1950. Yeah, 1951. The submarine. And these are very rough, but I am sure glad to have these. And then I started picking up the Shazam when they first came out, and some of them were just I read and reread, and this was a bunch that I just had close together. I still have several others, but I used to have issue 1, and I haven't seen it in ages, so I don't know whatever happened to it. It may have just gotten so bad, I don't know. Here is from when DC's got it. This is from 1973. Shazam number 7, and CC Beck was one of the creators of when Captain Marvel, when they first did Captain Marvel. He was the co-creator of the character and did the original design. And here he is when they brought it back for the first 10 or 11 issues. CC Beck was drawing the new stuff, but they often would have, usually even here, they would have a new lead story and then 1 or 2 reprint stories for backup from the 40s or 50s. And then they also did several books that were the tabloid sized books that were I think they were all reprint. Here we go. And here we are, number 9. Shazam number 9. Holy moly, am I me or am I you? Voot-y the day Shazam went ape. Still CC Beck. Then we jump to number 13, which is one of the 100-pagers. At that time, when you get a 100-page comic for 60 cents, they did for a while. And of course, this has 1 or 2 new stories, and then all the rest of it was reprint material. Of course, they had years and years of material they could available for reprint. Then here we are, issue 19. That was a big jump. But at this time, this is when they were had the TV show, the Saturday morning TV show, live action TV, Shazam, Saturday's newest TV star, Shazam. And that was a cool show. I used to watch it, and I have the whole series on DVD. It's the world's mightiest mortal, Shazam. It's time for the world's mightiest villain. So it is his counterpart here, and it was almost like his version of Mr. Mixus-Pitalik, I think. And of course, there had Kurt Schaffenberger was doing the primary art at this time. Had some others doing it. Now, Kurt Schaffenberger had done some Marvel Family artwork for Fawcett way back when, so it was nothing new to him. And here we have Elliot S. Maggin is the writer. This time it was mostly E. Nelson Bridwell and Elliot S. Maggin doing most of the writing, and they both did a lot of writing for the Superman titles. And in fact, Elliot S. Maggin wrote 2 Superman novels, which I have shown elsewhere here. Wrote 2 Superman novels. This was in conjunction with the Superman 1 and Superman 2 movies, but they were not novelizations of the movies. They were original novels. And that's number 19. And here we have still Saturday morning's TV's hit show, Shazam. And this is, again, still all new. This is Kurt Schaffenberger, and he had a more cartoonish stylization. And he did a lot of Superman related stuff and a lot of Shazam related stuff. And get away from some of the ads, and he has some really nice work. Nice, beautiful line work, very clean lines, beautiful anatomy, but it still had that cartoonish, almost, even when he did Superman and Jimmy Olsen and the others, that kind of cartoonish look to it. And we have issue number 22, still talking about the TV show, of course, just as Marvel did. I think this is all reprint. Yeah, this is all reprint with CC Beck art. Then we go to issue number 23, and this is new material. No, I take that back. All starting off as the new material, but the main story with that title is, or is it? No, that's reprint too. So the whole thing was reprint. But then we jump to 25. We skip 23, and this is all new material in this one. But you notice here, this is when they were introducing ISIS, when they had the ISIS show in conjunction with the Shazam show on TV, and they often crossed over on the shows. And both shows are available. If you've never seen them, I recommend you at least watch a couple of episodes. They're available on YouTube. So you have, and this is kind of cool. This was written by Denny O'Neil with art by Dick Giordano. This is Kurt Schaffenberger doing the cover, but he did a wonderful job. I just loved his work on the cover of ISIS covers too. But the interior art is by Dick Giordano, and he did just a beautiful, lovely work. And his version of Captain Marvel is still trying to maintain that classic stylization for Marvel, Captain Marvel. Everything else is his realistic style, but his own more realistic style comes through, and then it has a backup story all by Kurt Schaffenberger. But this is really, really cool right there. And then we have issue number 28, and this features the return of Black Adam, who had been banished to the farthest reaches of the universe, or something like that. and he got back. Now, he had been a villain in the classic era, so this is with his first appearance with DC. And of course, just was it last year or so? They had the Black Adam movie, based on DC's current version of Black Adam, who is halfway good guy, halfway bad guy, getting away from his evil tendencies. Good Kurt Schaffenberger artwork, but this story is a direct prequel to that Superman versus Shazam, because at the end of this one, he is changed back into his original self, and defeated and put in prison, and then his next appearance was in Superman versus Shazam, and after that he was a recurring villain because his powers had been restored to him. Okay. And I'm not even going to try to look at this one. Is issue number 29. This is kind of a fun one though. It's Ibeck, who is another villain, but changes from the use of a magic word. But his human alter ego is not a villain, but he is manipulated by Savannah, and in this case, Prince Lucifer has made Ibeck powerful enough to destroy the big red cheese. Now I'll become rightful ruler of the universe. No, he's not rightful ruler, and Savannah is basically the prototype of the evil mad scientist villain, and I think some of what Lex Luthor was like in the 40s was based on him, because he started off as the villain from the very first issue. And issue number 31. But I wanted to mention, I think it's in here, which you can see. Is it in this one? That this is at the time of the TV show, as I said. And I don't think it's in this one. And they adopted some stuff from the TV show in the comics. Come on, where is it? Is it not in this one? If not in here, is it? Yeah, there, you can see. We have the Winnebago that Billy and Mentor ride around in. And here, the Mentor was created for the TV show, but they adopted in the comics. They adopted their pre-existing character of Uncle Dudley as Mentor, and they sometimes call him Mentor here. And they have the little dome with all the lights and stuff where he's talking with the elders and stuff. They adopted all that from the TV show. Then we go to issue number 33. This is a cool one. So, you've lost your head, Mr. Adam. I've beaten you. That's what you think. World's mightiest mortal takes the lead in the Indianapolis 500 as he drives the fantastic lightning-powered Shazamobile. Number 33. And this is would be what, about 77? 78. And then after this, shortly after this, they started moving away from that traditional cartoonish style and made the artwork and the stories a bit more realistic and more of a serious nature than the humor, stronger humor touches that they had here. So that's what I've got for you this time to share with. And that took a lot longer than I intended, to share Shazam and the Marvel family with you. And I want to thank you for joining me. So please like, share, and subscribe. If you have friends who are Shazam fans, but maybe completely unaware of this stuff, maybe they just saw the movie or whatever, share this with them. They might enjoy that. And do leave comments down below. What do you think of Shazam and the Marvel family? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.